I'm not going to lie to you guys. I straight up copied someone else's agency and turned it into a business doing over $1 million a year. In this video, I'm going to show you the exact method I used so you can do it too. Here is my Stripe dashboard. You can see how much I've actually made in the past 2 years since starting this business. You can see it is well over $3 million. And using this exact same method, I've since started 2 more businesses, both now steadily doing 5 figures a month, as loyal viewers of the channel know. No elaborate offer testing, no hunting for some hidden untapped niche. You could have a business like this running in a matter of weeks, even with 0 experience to start. How? Well, let me show you. More people than ever are trying to start a business, and most of them online, now that everyone can see how crazy internet money actually is. And what I see everywhere is people trying to build an app or some software with Claude Code, sinking countless hours into something they have no way of knowing there's any demand for. And more often than not, obviously, it fails. But there is a much simpler, much more reliable way. One that doesn't involve being original, doesn't involve sitting around trying to think of problems to solve or gaps to close and then building a business around it. Instead, all I do is I copy businesses that are already making money, and that is it. But there's a right way to do it, and that's exactly what I'm going to show you. Let me pull up 3 businesses that I have confirmed are already making serious money. These are the businesses we are going to copy. We've got Cold IQ, we have got Leadbird, and we have got C17. I am not expecting any of you to be familiar with any of these businesses, so let's do a real quick rundown. Cold IQ calls itself a go-to-market agency, but if we scroll down just a bit to 3 ways we help you grow and look at the breakdown, they do outbound, cold email and LinkedIn. They do LinkedIn ads and they do LinkedIn content. I'll make it easier for you. All of these things have one goal, which is getting the businesses, their clients, more leads by sending messages, running ads, and getting people to engage with their content. So simply put, it is a lead generation agency. Moving over to Leadbird, they are a bit more upfront about what they do. Scroll down a bit all the way to here and we can see they do outbound using 3 channels: cold email, LinkedIn, and cold calling, which is something Cold IQ didn't do. Again, they are a lead generation agency. Then lastly, real quick, C17. As you can see, they call themselves a revenue engineering agency. But again, scroll down and you'll see they do cold email, they do LinkedIn and cold calling. So what are they actually? A lead generation agency. Now, don't walk away from this video thinking lead generation is the only business model that works. It is just the market I know best, so I can show you some really good verified examples. There are plenty of other models that work and can be copied the exact same way we are about to. If you want to know how I come up with winning business models to copy and you want access to a list of the easiest services to sell, click the first link in the description. So why did I pull up these 3 and how does it help us start our own? I pulled them up specifically because they have a lot of verifiable case studies. Scroll down on Cold IQ and you see interviews with clients talking about their results. The same thing goes for Leadbird. If I scroll all the way down, I believe I will also see some interviews. Over here, we see some customer testimonials and we can watch the interviews as well. And then the same thing is with C17. Say also at the bottom of the page, there you go. So from these businesses, we get a pretty clear picture of the service they offer, and we can confirm they're doing it well enough that these clients are willing to hop on a call to talk about it. And those are the 2 main things we want to know before we go any further. Okay, so before we get into the actual method, how to turn the information we now have into a profitable business of our own, let's quickly talk about what we now know. First off, we know the services they all run. I'm not going to show it in this video, but if you want more detail on how their service actually works, just watch the VSLs, the videos at the top of their homepages. That is literally them explaining how the whole thing works in detail for free. Second, they have plenty of case studies and they're all interviews. So we know these aren't just blocks of text written by AI. These are real clients. So we've already cleared two of the biggest hurdles. We know what to sell. We have our idea. And we don't just know who to sell it to. We know there are people actively buying it, which means we know there's a real demand for our service. And those are the two questions most people get stuck on. And we've now skipped both right from the start. Now onto the method. There are three levers we're going to copy. We have the offer, the market, and the delivery. Let's start with the offer. We need a few things. What they sell, which we already know. How it's packaged, which we get from the website and mainly the VSL. The promise or the result they are selling, again, straight from the website or the VSL. And then the price. Now, the price usually isn't on the website. That's just standard business practice. But it also doesn't matter much. And here's why. When you're starting any business, your number one goal is getting case studies as fast as possible. So you're either massively undercutting the market anyway, or you're offering the whole thing as pay per performance, where the client only pays when you actually deliver results. By the way, that is the pricing structure that Leadbird uses. They are massive, and as far as I know, they're still using pay per performance as their pricing model because it works and it is so profitable. Now, not every service can run this model, but if your service gets another business more leads, more calls, or more clients in any way, you can, and I highly recommend it. Okay, so that is the offer, but these businesses we are copying have all these case studies. How do we actually use them to figure out which market to go after? This is my method, and I've truthfully never seen anyone else talk about it or do it this way. What we do is compile a massive list of every business these testimonials come from. So for Cold IQ, we've got Lyle Marketing, we've got Novel, Field Day, Puzzle, we've got People Logic and Hemlane. And we would repeat writing all of those down for the other two as well. Once we've got that list, we reverse search every business on it. You can use a tool like Apollo, which is a lead database, to quickly see what industry each one is classified as. Or you can scroll the websites yourself or use AI to work out what market they are in. What we are looking for is patterns and clusters. Once you spot that, say out of 50 businesses, a big chunk of them are marketing agencies, you've found something. You now know that market of marketing agencies is hungry for this service, and you know delivering it for them is easy and works because these companies were happy enough to go on camera and talk about it. So that is the market that you should start with as well. Delivery is really just a result you get once you've nailed the offer and the market. It's about what you deliver and who you deliver it to. And usually knowing those two things also makes your messaging obvious because now you know exactly who you're talking to and exactly what you're promising them. Now, yes, you could copy any of these businesses exactly, and as long as you're doing enough outreach, you'd still succeed. That is true for any service business. But look closer at the three examples. They all offer something slightly different, with the one common thread being cold email and LinkedIn. When you're starting, you want to strip it down to that simplest form and offer only that. Don't bloat yourself trying to learn 5 things at once. Focus on the core, master it, only then expand. And the best way to expand is by using your existing clients to test new offerings. I can confidently tell you that Cold IQ only started running LinkedIn ads because their clients were asking for it. The other two only added cold calling because they kept getting questions about whether they offered it. Your base service, your core business, stays the same, but from there, it's just a matter of getting better than everyone else by watching businesses like these and new ones that pop up eventually, spotting what they're doing that works and bolting it onto what you already have. That is the whole point. You're never wasting time testing things from scratch. You're just copying the best performing pieces from other high performers. Having these three things is all you need to form the foundation of your business. No guessing, no testing, no months wasted wondering if any of it will ever work. Now, the whole point of starting a business is to, at some point, step away from it or at least not be involved in operations 24/7. And this is another big benefit I found from just copying proven business models. Because when you are the sole creator of the idea, you've got this unique vision in your head, which makes it nearly impossible to delegate anything or find people who can actually do it the way you want it to be done. But a proven business model already has plenty of operators running it and plenty of freelancers offering exactly these services. Since we've used lead generation as the running example, let me break the service down a bit more and show you how quickly after starting you can hire people to take over the operations and hand off the time-intensive work. Lead generation at its core is doing cold email and LinkedIn outreach for other businesses, and here is everything that goes into that. Knowing their ICP, their ideal customer profile, who they sell to, and building the lead list from that. Knowing their offer and tweaking it slightly so it works for cold outreach. Writing the email and LinkedIn copy. Setting up the infrastructure, so the email inboxes and LinkedIn accounts. Setting up the campaigns, managing the replies, and reviewing campaign performance and making tweaks when necessary. Now, that is a long list, but you'd only need 2 hires to cover all of it. The first hire is your operator. They handle pure execution, the repeatable stuff that just follows a playbook, building the lead lists, setting up the infrastructure, the inboxes and LinkedIn accounts, and launching the campaigns. None of this needs much judgment. It just needs to get done right and consistently, which makes this the easiest role to hire for and replace when it eventually is needed. The second hire is your expert, and this is the one whose judgment actually drives the results. They handle the ICP and offer research, writing the copy, managing the replies that come in, and reviewing campaign performance to optimize it. So everything that decides whether the campaigns actually work, the targeting, the messaging, and the tweaking based on what's landing sits with this person. This is the more senior role, obviously, and the one worth paying a little bit extra for. And surprisingly enough, good people to take these tasks over can be found anywhere. My team right now is entirely people from Asia and South America who cost me less than half what an American would. And they work harder and they are more dedicated, I can tell you from experience. There are plenty of platforms like Upwork and Online Jobs where you can post a listing. And again, because this is a service that's been around a long time with so many operators, you can find people with real experience who already know the inner workings of businesses like this and genuinely push yours forward. It gets to the point where you're barely involved in operations at all. You're running a lean 2 to 5 person business, doing 6 figures in revenue at 70% margins. And by hiring people quite early on in the process, that is exactly what lets me run 3 businesses at the same time and still have the time to travel, spend time with family, and do whatever I actually want to do. So let's talk about where this then all goes. A business like this is something you can actually sell later on. Once it runs without you, it's not just income anymore, it's an asset. People, investors buy lean businesses like this that already print money and they pay very handsomely for it. So you could actually walk away with quite a decent amount that you can invest in a new business or in some other assets for yourself. And then again, scaling it doesn't mean working more. It means doing the exact same thing again. Once one business is running, you copy your way into a new service or a new market. The same process I just walk you through. That's how I ended up with running 3 at once, as I already mentioned. That is really the whole appeal of doing it this way. You're not betting on an idea. You're not hoping there is demand. Every time you're copying something that's already proven to work. And that makes this about as close to a sure thing as starting a business ever gets. Now, having the foundation and actually starting and scaling a business are two entirely different things. So if you want my help doing this, I run a private community called Scaling Systems, where I walk you through every step of it in detail. The exact services that work, how to find and copy the right businesses, the offer structures that actually sign clients, my full automated outreach system that does the research, the personalization, and the sending for you of your outreach, the landing page templates, the LinkedIn profile setup, the sales call frameworks, all of it. And you're doing it alongside a whole community of people on the same path as well. Over 850 people have been part of it in the past 12 months, with more than 150 members scaling past $10,000 a month from nothing. It is the only shortcut to a successful business you need. The link is in the description. I will see you guys inside.